Hi, my name is Mel, and in this video we're gonna talk about gimbals. If you're like me and love action cameras, probably because they're so small and durable and it's easy to take them anywhere you want to go and not be worried about breaking it, like I would be breaking this camera right here. You've probably played back that video and thought, oh my god, how can I make this a little bit smoother? Because all I can see is things shaking. And if you had an older camera like, say, the GoPro Hero 3 or the Hero 4, those cameras had zero stabilization, so you probably shopped around for a gimbal. Here is my very first gimbal that I used with the GoPro Hero 3 and 4. This one is specifically made for the Hero 3 and 4. This is the Feiyutech G4S. Now, because this was specifically made for the Hero 3 and 4, it's got the little USB outlet right here that connects directly to the camera. There would be no way for me to use my newer cameras with this, so I went shopping. And if you went shopping like me, you probably ran into two different gimbals. One of them being the Feiyutech G6 and the other being the Hohem iSteady Pro. Now, as of the filming of this video in 2019, the Feiyutech G6 costs about $170 and the Hohem iSteady Pro costs about $100. That's if there's no sale going on. Now, like me, you are probably wondering, could I save myself 70 bucks? Well, I just couldn't help myself, so I got both of them. Now, before I get into my own personal verdict, let's talk about each gimbal one at a time. Now, having had the older version of the Feiyutech gimbal, I figure let's start with the more expensive one, the Feiyutech G6. Right off the bat, it comes with its own case. When you pick it up out of the case, you can feel that it is made out of good quality. Most of the body is metal and has a rubber coating on it. On the side here, you have a quarter 20 tripod mount. Right here, you have a small LCD screen so you can see what's going on. A little joystick here, a mode/power button, and the record/selection button. Here on this side, you have a micro USB, what you use to charge the gimbal. One button. On this side, you have a little selector and another button. On the bottom has a quarter 20 tripod mount. Now it comes with one of these batteries that is 5,000 mAh. That's rechargeable. Right here on the bottom is an option to balance your gimbal. On the back of the gimbal itself here is a little port where you can plug in your GoPro or any other camera to control it. Now, this gimbal is only compatible with the GoPro Heroes 5, 6, and 7, and from what I'm told, the Sony RX0 series cameras. If you were to hook them up using this USB port, you'd be able to control the camera with these buttons over here. Other cameras, like the Yeelight, it won't be able to control it, but it will still be, you'd still be able to balance the gimbal with that camera on. Two screws here that give you the ability to tighten down the camera so it doesn't come falling out of the gimbal. Next up, we'll talk about the Hohem iSteady Pro. The gimbal itself feels kind of cheap, I'm not gonna lie. Mostly it's made out of a hard plastic and has like a fake leather handle grippy type thing right here. It also has a quarter 20 tripod mount on the bottom, and on the side here you have that same kind of joystick type thing, a selector knob here, two buttons, and on the side here a USB and a micro USB port. Then on the side here, 4 little LEDs to indicate the power that's in the gimbal. This doesn't have an interchangeable battery like the G6, so you'd have to charge it just right in here in this handle. The actual gimbal part does not have to be balanced, so if you are going to use a lighter action camera with this, you might have a hard time with it. There's also a mini USB port that gives you the ability to charge the camera while you're using it, but that would also drain the battery in the gimbal. Same thing for the G6. Now, since we're talking about batteries, power-wise, the G6 actually lasts a little bit longer. With both of these gimbals, using them without charging the physical camera itself, the G6 claims that it will last about 12 hours on a single charge if you're not using it hooked up to the camera. I didn't have much good luck with that. Actually, it lasted about 8 hours for me. The iSteady Pro lasted about 6 hours for me without the camera connected. Of course, if you're using this battery to charge your camera while you're using it, I've only been able to use this about 5 hours before the battery died. I found though that with both of these, you're able to charge it up with a power bank while you're using it in case you need to use it any longer than the battery lasts. What else is different is that the iSteady Pro comes with the little tripod legs and the G6 does not. However, these are the tripod legs that come with the iSteady Pro. Again, made out of plastic and feel like they'd be easy to break. Personally, I have my own set of metal tripod legs, or I'll use the Manfrotto Mini Pixie tabletop tripod, and I have much more faith keeping my gimbal on that than this. Something really important to note about the G6 is that it has the ability to tilt 360 degrees in unlimited access, and you have the ability of turning it 360 degrees without getting the gimbal in the video. Now, it states that the gimbal will automatically make sure that the gimbal doesn't end up in your shot, but there have been some times that I have tried to move my gimbal using the joystick and the camera turns in such a way that it's staring directly at the gimbal. Not a big problem, actually. In my experience, I just pick up the gimbal and turn it in the way that I want it to face, and then that solves the problem. This gimbal comes with an app. I downloaded it, but personally, I'm not a fan of having apps or being connected to my phone while I'm taking video using the gimbal. I'd rather just use the gimbal as is. So, sorry, I can't really talk about the app. Now let's talk about the iSteady Pro. Probably the biggest problem that I have with this gimbal is that it only turns 320 degrees. So there will be a point that you will try to turn your gimbal and it's not gonna turn anymore. It's just gonna stop. But that's enough talking about these gimbals. So let's hop into some video that I shot using both gimbals so you can see what they look like side by side. In this video, I'm taking a walk in the park on uneven ground using two GoPro Hero 7 Blacks with image stabilization off, in the camera filming in 4K wide angle at 24 frames per second. On the right side, we'll call it is gimbal A, and on the left side, we'll call it gimbal B. If you take a look at the rail on the right and the trees as we turn around, you can see that just like most traditional gimbals, the problem isn't so much side to side, but the up and down movement as you're walking. If I had to pick one though, I'd pick gimbal A. Now that you've seen it at normal speed, I'm gonna play that video again at twice the speed because that's the best way to tell how stable video actually is. Yeah, after that, they both kind of look kind of similar to me. Now let's play them one video at a time. Here I'll show you gimbal A. And then gimbal B. And I'd have to say they're pretty similar, but if I had to give my vote, I'd say gimbal A. Now, just for kicks, I thought it would be a good idea to put gimbal A up against the GoPro Hero 7 Black with the hyper smooth stabilization on. Everybody claims it's a gimbal killer, so let's find out. Just so that there isn't any bias, once again, I'm gonna play you both videos side by side. I'm not gonna tell you which side is which. And surprisingly, they both look very similar. The smoothness is pretty great. And once again, we'll speed it up and see what it looks like. This is gonna be a hard decision. So after I did these videos, I literally sat down and played them over and over and over again, put them side by side and watched them over and over again, speeded them up and watched it over and over again. And I've come to the conclusion that you don't really need a gimbal. If you have the GoPro Hero 7 Black, the best way for you to save your money is just to skip the gimbal. But if you have an older camera that does not have electronic image stabilization, or even if you have the GoPro Hero 5 and 6 where the stabilization was just coming out and wasn't as great as the GoPro Hero 7 is, and I was forced to pick, I would pick Gimbal A. And the winner is the Feiyutech G6. However, that's only because if I had to vote for one, I would vote for the G6. If I was truly going to try to save some money, then I would definitely pick the Hohem iSteady Pro. When it comes down to the video quality and the actual stabilization of both gimbals, you could really only nitpick the difference between both of them if you had them side by side. And there you have it. If you are truly on a budget and want to save money but still need that smooth video, I would stick with the GoPro Hero 7 Black. If you just have to go out there and buy a gimbal, get the G6. And if you truly just want to get smoother stabilization and you don't have the GoPro Hero 7 Black, the iSteady Pro will do you just fine. I feel like that didn't help at all. Well, anyway, if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. And as always, I thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video.